Hi there. Just wanted to say before the video starts, this video I actually uploaded on Saturday evening, I believe it was, and I actually took it down this morning, which is Monday, because some people have thought that I was attacking other brands when I said that I thought Ova8 was the best, and that was never my intention, to attack other brands and make them look like their poles were rubbish. My videos aren't scripted at all. I just have a few notes that I write down before I start the video, and in me explaining a point, I've obviously mentioned something and it's been taken the wrong way. I'm not that sort of person that would attack other brands and belittle their equipment. You know, we're all in the same boat with window cleaning, and the pole that you like to use or the pole that you use and feel comfortable with, you're going to think is the best. So by me saying that I thought Ova8 was the best, that really was just my opinion. So yeah, this is the uploaded video again. I've edited out what I have said, and I'm sorry for what I've said. If you find me controversial, feel free to unsubscribe from the channel, but I will be saying it as it is, and if I like something, I'm going to say I like it, and if I don't, I'm going to say I don't like it. So yeah, this is the uploaded video. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you on another one. Over the last few years, I've tried quite a few different water fed poles, but it doesn't matter what I try, I always end up coming back to my Ova8 pole. And in this video, I'm going to share with you why I think this is the best anti-spin pole on the market. Now, when I started my business, I brought a starter kit from Window Cleaning Warehouse. It came with a hybrid pole, and the hybrid pole is just so bendy and it's really hard to control. And after about 6 months, I treated myself to an Ova8 pole. Now, it was the first carbon fibre pole I had, but I got it because I really wanted an anti-spin pole, and there wasn't that many options on the market at the time. And just using that water fed pole was absolutely amazing for me, complete game changer for me. And the pole I got was a 22 foot. Why do I like it so much? So one of the main things that I obviously wanted when I got my Ova8 pole was I wanted to have an anti-spin pole, and also holding a round pole all day, it used to make my hands really ache. And when I got the Ova8 pole, because of the flat sides on the pole, it meant you weren't holding something that was completely round, so it used to stop my hands from aching a lot, and that pain went away. I used to get my fingers locking down like that, but once I started using an Ova8 pole, that completely changed, and I didn't get any of those problems with my hands. So the other thing I really like about the Ova8 poles, obviously I said it's anti-spin, but because it's anti-spin because of the shape. So I said about the two flat sides on the pole, which means the pole can't spin at all. The clamps don't need to be done up really tight. They just need to be done up enough to stop the sections from sliding up and down, and it's actually the shape of it that stops it from twisting. And the other thing I really like, you can see it here, it doesn't matter what section you extend and collapse, the clamps are always in line, and that's something that I really like, just having all those clamps in line. I don't like it when you use a round pole and the clamps are all over the place. So it just keeps everything neat. It's easy to collapse and extend, and the clamps work really well. I think these are probably some of the best clamps that I've ever used. Now I can show you a little bit closer here. You've got like a purple shim in there, and you can change them if you need to, and then you've got this thumb wheel which you just turn, and that is how you adjust the clamps. Yeah, I find them absolutely brilliant. I've got here a 25 foot. I used a 22 foot for a number of years, and then it got really worn, and I actually brought this 25 foot off someone second hand locally to me who wasn't using it anymore, and it was pretty much brand new when I got it. As you can see now, the writing's worn off because I've used it so much, but I'm just going to share with you what the weight of this pole is, the 25 foot. So the weight of this pole without a brush is 1,330 grams. The length of it, when it's collapsed as it is now, is 1.59 meters, and it can extend to 25 foot. And it's got 5 sections to extend. Now it is a little bit longer than the 22 foot because it's got less sections, and that is a bit of a downside. I do find it a little bit long when it's fully collapsed down, and often you can knock things with the back of it. But I'll go into the downsides and the things I don't like a bit later on, but that is one of them. But if you get some of the shorter poles, so the 17 or the 22 foot, sorry, they are a little bit shorter, so you won't have that problem. Now the other thing that I really like about the Ova8 poles is the hose that it comes with. Now this hose is from Streamline, and it's called the Flexi 5, and it's purple in colour. Now I think this is probably some of the best hose that I've ever used. I've used some hose before that is like really rigid and plasticky, and it's hard to pull the univalve on and off. This here is quite a stretchy pole hose, but it's not too stretchy, but it is difficult sometimes to get the fittings, like your slip connector fitting on. You do have to heat it up in some hot water and put like a bit of Vaseline or something on to help put the fittings on, but once they're on, they're absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I think this pole hose is absolutely brilliant on the poles. It coils up nice and neat, and it will remember that sort of where you coiled it, but when you lay it out flat on the floor, it doesn't remember it, and it can lay totally flat. And yeah, I really like that about the Flexi 5 pole hose. Now I've used many different poles, as I said, but what I find when I pick up an Ova8 pole is that it just feels real quality. There's just something about it. Like, I've used the pole and it's really light, and I find it difficult to use because it's too light, and you feel like you can't control it because it feels like it's going to float away, if you know what I mean. But this pole here, it just, every time I pick it up after using a different brand of pole, it just feels like they've got the weight exactly right, and it's just so easy to use. It's comfortable in your hand, and yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Now you can get for these poles some extensions, so the extensions that they do fit the 25 and the 17 foot poles, and you can take it right up to 50 foot, I think. So that's a really good option if you don't want to buy multiple poles. So I'm going to be getting rid of my 35 foot phantom pole, and I'm going to be getting the extensions for this 25 foot, and hopefully as well I'm going to be getting a 17 foot Ova8 pole, so that I can put the extensions on either pole. And I think the 17 would be really good for just your normal residential 2 stories, and then when you need that little bit extra length, get this one out. And if I need to go higher again for Velux windows or solar panels, or even 4 or 5 stories high, then I can add the extensions to this pole, and I think that would be a great option. Now, something I found out recently when I went up to Streamline and was chatting to them is the bottom sections of the Ova8 poles are actually made of fiberglass, not carbon fibre, and it's not something they've advertised really, but it was there as like protection insulation in case you touched a power cable or something like that. So they said they have been doing that for years, but they've never actually publicised it. But the new Ova8 poles that you can get now, they're actually doing the first 2 sections out of Kevlar, so that is adding extra protection. So when I say the first 2 sections, I mean the bottom 2 sections that you touch the most when you're extending it up and down, and they are the risk, obviously. If you hit a power cable, they're the ones that you're going to be holding on to. So I like that they've done that, but with the Ova8 pole, and they're, you know, looking out for the safety of people that use them. What don't I like about the Ova8 pole? There's not really that much that I don't really like, but as I said just now, the length of the 25 foot, I do find it a little bit long, although I have got used to it. You do find on this 25-foot pole, there is a bit of flex in it when it's fully extended, and that can be a little bit annoying for some people if you're not used to it and you're used to a really rigid pole. But there is a bit of a flex to it, but you get used to it. The other thing that I don't really like is the price of them. They are quite expensive, but what I would say is you get what you pay for. The other thing that I don't really like about the Ova8 poles is the brush that they come with. It's okay as brushes go, but I did find that when I was using them, the bristles often came out, got caught in the bits of the windows and like the trims and that, and they were always pulling them out, and that can get a little bit annoying. Also, the cap on the bottom here, you can see it, that's really good because of the shape of it. The pole hose, you can't trap it on the ground, but what I did find is the very edge of this, you can actually probably see it there, it wears where the hose goes up and down all the time, and I'm finding that sort of every year I'm having to replace the cap. They are really cheap and you can get them from different suppliers for the Ova8 pole, but yeah, I find that they do wear quite quickly, so it's good to have some spares of those. The other thing that I find a little bit annoying about the Ova8 poles, and it's because the first section is like super thin, it's not very big diameter at all, but the univalve can't fit inside your first section. So if you look here, your univalve has to fit right at the bottom of the first section, and because of that you can't really pull hose through here. If you want more or less hose, you can't really pull it through or reduce it because the univalve is going to obviously interfere at the bottom. So that is, you know, a little bit of a problem for me, but you know, it works. And I've often found if I put an extension on here, because Ova8 do a lot of really good extensions for their quick release, then I would just add an extra bit of hose onto the end, make up a little bit and keep it in the van, and just add that when I need to. Now you can see here I've got a gardener brush on here, and if I show you a bit closer, I've actually got the gardener quick lock system on. Now Ova8 do their own quick lock system, which is really good, but when I was trying out some of the other poles, I used the gardener gooseneck with the quick lock system and I really liked it. And I've got a micro brush that I use, and you can't change the socket on the micro brush, so I just decided that I would switch over to the gardener quick lock system, which I really like. It's very simple to just press in and take your brush on and off. So what I've done here is I've added the gardener quick lock onto the end of the Ova8 pole. Now I can't add a gardener gooseneck because of the shape of the gooseneck on the Ova8 pole, so I put a gardener quick lock on the end, and that works really well. This sort of bit here with the teeth on is sort of universal for most poles, so you can do that anyway if you need to. So I've got a gardener brush on a swivel on an Ova8 pole, and I find that that works really well. Now if you wanted to get yourself an Ova8 pole and you wanted to get yourself one and maybe save yourself a little bit of money, if you can go direct to Streamline, or you can ring Streamline's trade counter, which is called Streamline Trade. If you phone them, I'll put the number in the description and I'll put it on the screen right now as well. If you phone them and ask to speak to Richard Scott, who is the director of Streamline Trade, if you say that you've seen my videos and you want to get yourself an Ova8 pole, then he will look after you. So if that's something that of interest to you, give them a call and pick yourself up one. I know when I went to Streamline Trade recently, they've got absolutely stacks of poles for sale. They've got ones like this with the insulated section at the bottom, and then they've got the new ones which have the bottom two sections insulated, and they're willing to sell either of those to people, and you can get yourself a good deal on an Ova8 pole. So yeah, that's the end of my review video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing some more equipment videos with you soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.